We did a homebrew competition. We had 20 entries. They were all very good. You know, you could definitely see that there was some talent out there. You know, unfortunately with a competition, someone has to win, which means everyone else has to not win. The winner was a Belgian Tripel by Evan and Vince.
When I graduated from college, which was in 1988, I think I looked in the back of a magazine, Popular Mechanics, and there was a little ad and it said, "Here, brew your own beer." So I was like, "Oh, cool, brew beer." So I ordered the kit, and it was just a little can of extract, and you needed a bucket and an airlock and some yeast, and I think I boiled it for 2 minutes and threw it in there and drank it, and it was drinkable. It tasted like beer, but it wasn't anything special. And of course, with anything, as you start doing something, you want to make it better.
From the first sip, I think anyone who tasted it could pretty much tell this beer was a standout. It was very crisp, clean, it was well made, had nice phenolics to it. You know, gave it a little spice. It wasn't overbearing with the hops. I almost, you know, thought I could go into a liquor store and buy a Duval and pour it next to it, and it would have held up. It would have compared to it.
Belgian Tripel, it's one of my favorite styles of beer. It's a very high alcohol beer. It's kind of deceiving. It's around 8.5% alcohol. A lot of times you can't even tell the alcohol's there. It's a fruity beer, very Belgian-y. You'll get a lot of banana esters, some spice. So it's actually a beer that a lot of people usually like, so that's why I entered that one in the contest.
We also thought it would be nice to find a beer that the Tun Tavern didn't serve as part of their flagship. So we thought the Tripel would be give us a good shot to have something to make and have on tap there.
The beer was made with the intent specifically to be served at the Atlantic City Beer Festival this April. To the best of my knowledge, it's going to be the only craft beer. Well, I don't want to say the only craft beer there. There'll be other craft brewers, but the beers that will be there are through distributors. You can walk into basically any finer liquor store and find the beers that will be there at the festival in a liquor store. Whereas this beer, since it's made at a brew pub, you're not going to find this in a liquor store. It's going to probably be the only beer over there that's the only place you're going to get it, is at that festival or when you come across the street afterwards into the brew pub.
It's a real honor to be able to go to the Atlantic City Beer Festival and have, you know, our beer, our creation, something that we came up with from scratch, being poured to thousands and thousands of people, and to be the only beer that's there specifically for the Atlantic City Beer Festival is something special.
These homebrew systems these days are the same as a professional system, just on a smaller scale. And you know, I could say that the other way. My professional system here is just a big homebrew system. When we did the collaboration with Vince and Evan, basically they almost hit the ground running. I didn't really need to give them too much guidance on, you know, what was what and what did what, because they fabricated their own homebrew system with temperature controls and valves and such, and it just really translated from small to large.
The differences between brewing on a big scale brewery over at the Tun Tavern as compared to brewing in my garage here, to be quite honest, it was very similar. You're just talking bigger quantities. We had you know, hundreds of pounds of malt to mix into our mash. As here I have about 18 pounds to mix.
Yeah, one other difference I noticed was a difference between brewing on a commercial system and home brewing was it's a little bit more difficult on a commercial system to fine-tune things. So, you know, when we were brewing this Tripel for the Atlantic City Beer Festival, our mash temperature was a little bit lower than we wanted it to be. So, you know, on a homebrew scale, we just add a little pot of boiling water and you can bring that up, you know, relatively easily. And on a commercial scale, you're talking about, you know, hundreds of gallons of water. So just to bring that up even just a few degrees was kind of a challenge.
It's really not much of a stretch for a home brewer to get into the field. And you know, I have to admit, there's some excellent home brewers out there. There's home brewers that make beer better than I do. And that's a good thing, you know. Again, it just kind of keeps challenging and pushing the industry for innovation and better beers.